Hi guys, I know you're seeing Tristan. She has not moved in a while. And there is a reason why she has not moved in a while. Some of you, I know not long ago, I put out a video that I'm kind of going down on how many videos I'm doing a week because it's just been a lot. And it'll probably stay that way for a bit until I can get my head mentally back where it needs to be. About 2 weeks ago, actually not even 2 weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, my dad passed away. You guys will be seeing this, it'll be after 2 weeks. But on October 10th at 6:01 a.m. he passed away. He was at home. He was with my mom and a very good friend that took care of him at the end. This is a friend that words can't even express the thanks for her. When my mom needed her, she quit her job so that she could stay at my parents' house to help take care of my dad, so my mom could go to work since I couldn't be there. It's been a hard week and a half. I don't know even how to describe the feeling. The best ability I can describe is so much pain and numbness at the same time. Like my body's completely numb, but then I hurt everywhere. The Monday before he passed, which my kids didn't have school, I put them to bed, and right after I put them to bed, Dottie messages me and said, "Do you want a video chat with your dad?" And I said yes. And my dad kind of stopped talking the Friday before. After we left in July, he would talk, but it was more yes or no questions, and he'd shake his head, yes or no. And that Friday before he passed, he just completely stopped talking. He would reply yes or no questions, but that was as far as he would go. And sometimes he wouldn't even get an answer on those. Saturday, when hospice came, the hospice nurse told my mom, "I think he just has days left." My mom goes, "Like a week?" And she goes, "No, I don't even think he has a week left." Which, on the Wednesday prior to him passing, they gave my dad 2 months. They said the rate he was going, he had 2 months. And then Friday, he stopped talking. Actually, I think Thursday he stopped talking. Friday, he stopped eating. He was still drinking, but he wouldn't eat. And then Saturday is when the hospice nurse told my mom that she thought he only had days left. So Sunday, he had a busy day. Lots of friends and family came to visit him and pretty much say their goodbyes. Monday was kind of a slower day. And like I said, Monday night after the kids were in bed, Dottie, the lady that was taking care of him, asked if I wanted a video chat with him. And of course I said yes. And I'm glad I did. I was doing something at the time. I don't even remember now what I was even doing. But I made it a point to video chat with him. I stopped what I was doing. He was responding to yes or no questions from me. But, once again, he wasn't talking. But he did look up at the phone. So, I was lucky in that sense. That he was still, you know, responding in that way. So, that was Sunday night. Monday, around 1 o'clock, my mom called me saying, I don't think it's going to be much longer. We had planned after I video chatted with him on the night before that after the kids got out of school on Tuesday, I would pick him up from school and let them video chat with him. So, I went to pick the kids up from school early that day because I'm like, I don't want to wait. I do not want to wait. Because my mom's saying, you know, he's going faster. You know, hospice would kind of give them steps and things to kind of look out for. And so, my mom said that, and I'm like, I'm going to get the kids now. My kids were able to say goodbye to Papa. They talked to him for almost 40 minutes. I actually, instead of using my phone to video chat, I pulled out my iPad so that it was bigger for the kids to see him. We were doing it through Facebook chat, which I didn't know this feature. I know, like, when you FaceTime people, you can screenshot. Well, when you use Facebook video chat, there's a section that lets you take a picture, and it'll actually split the screen. So half of the screen is the one, it's half and half. It's hard to explain. I would show you, but those are kind of personal pictures. So I was able to take some pictures of the kids video chatting with Papa. They had said he had been sleeping all day that day, and he really hadn't been responding to anybody. But at one point, he did wake up and was watching the screen and watching the kids talk to him. And we kind of think one thing that my son said to him kind of was the push. When we were there in July, I told my dad that if he felt he needed to go, don't wait for me. It took my mom until last month to finally tell him that it was okay to go when he was ready. At that point, I mean, he was still doing good, both when her and I said it, but at the end we were like, what is he holding on for? We had no idea what he was holding on for. And with autism and like phone calls and stuff, my son typically has to be prompt what to talk about. When he would talk to my dad in the past, obviously my dad would be able to respond to him and ask him the questions, but it had to be yes or no questions, and my dad really wasn't all that responsive. He just talked. And my son would say something, and you kind of, okay, what did you do in school today? What did you do? What did you do this? When did you do this? What did you do this? And, I mean, we kind of had to prompt him to get him to talk. And at one point, my daughter was talking, and she had to go to the bathroom, so my son came back over and was talking as well. And unprompted, he goes, Papa, you do good things in heaven. Do great things when you're up in heaven. And please come visit me sometime. And my mom said after that video chat with the kids, it was like everything started speeding up in the process. At this point, Dottie had actually pretty much moved in with my mom and dad. She was staying 24/7. That whole last week, my mom took off work because we knew it was close. So, especially after we were told he only had days. So, she took off work, and at night, they had a baby monitor in his room. Dottie would take the baby monitor so my mom could get some sleep. And around, I think they said about 3 that morning, Dottie noticed his breathing was getting harder and harder, even with the oxygen. And so my mom and her both went in and sat and held his hand and just kept talking to him. And my mom said he didn't seem to suffer. He didn't seem to be in any pain. And, you know, it was probably the last 45 minutes that he was kind of struggling to breathe. And she said, all of a sudden at 6 o'clock in the morning, she goes, he'd opened his eyes, like I said, the night before he opened his eyes and was looking where the kids were. When we video chatted with him. But she said he opened his eyes and it was like complete clarity in his eyes. And she said he opened his eyes wider than she had seen him open them in the last couple months. And she goes, he looked up at the ceiling and he just kept staring. And finally my mom said, Kenny, if the angels are there to take you to Jesus, go. And just as she said, go, he took in one big breath and let it out, and he was gone. It's been hard. The kids are doing as best as you can expect them to. My daughter will just randomly start crying. And she'll be walking and she'll just stop and start crying, saying how much she misses him already. My son with the autism, we don't know how much he actually understands. And he's trying to process everything. He won't really talk about it. But he has been having more meltdown behavior over insignificant things, and we think it's due to him processing it, and that's the only way he knows how to deal with it. He'll occasionally say, Papa's dead. Papa had cancer. Why did Papa have to die? And I can't answer that for him. We've tried in a way we could think of. One of my mom's cousin's husbands is a hospice chaplain in their area. And the way that we explained it to the kids, he had kind of asked me and I told him, and he goes, that's actually a great way to explain it. And then he asked if he could actually use that, which we're fine with. It's not like we own the rights to explaining it. It's just been very surreal. Yesterday I was at Walmart having to pick up a few things, and I went down the toy aisle because I'm already Christmas shopping. In fact, I'm mostly done Christmas shopping. And out of habit, I walked down the car aisle. And a bunch. My dad used to collect like the 1/16 scales and then the Matchbox size cars. And my dad was really into cars and Harleys. And specifically cars were like Dodge, Plymouth, Chrysler. the muscle cars, the nickname for all of them were Mopars. And I looked down at the type that he used to collect, and there was a whole bunch of Mopars sitting there. And without even I picked up a bunch of them and put them in my cart going, oh, my dad would love these for Christmas. And then I had to stop myself and put them back on the shelf because there is no Christmas for him. Even at the prayer service, I was sitting talking to my mom's cousin and her husband. And we had set up some boards with some pictures of my dad. And from where I was sitting, it was kind of on a table in front of some glass windows between the main portion, or like the entryway of the church, and can't even think of what it's called, like where you go to have the service. And they were in the entryway, and all I could see was people's feet from where I was sitting. Because when they were looking at the boards, their whole upper body was covered. And I was talking to my mom's cousin, and I don't know who it was, but they were wearing the same shoes my dad wears. And the same colored jeans he always wore. And they were standing at the board looking at his pictures. And all I saw were like about the knees down. And I had to catch myself from saying to my mom's cousin, oh look, my dad's here now. Because when I turned my head the other direction to look at her, his urn was right behind her. It doesn't seem real. And it's been a lot to process. My childhood best friend was there. A few years ago, her dad passed away. And when I texted her right away, or no, I called her to let her know. And she's not a crier, and she started crying, and she's like, she was freaking out. The whole drive up there, she was texting me like every hour and a half, asking where I was, where we were, and checking in. And asking how I was doing and such. And when she got to the funeral, she came right over to me, and I just started crying. And she looked at me and she's like, when did we get this old? She goes, our parents aren't that old. Why are we burying them? When did we get this old? And it was such a profound statement. Because I don't remember getting this old. My dad wasn't that old. He was 63. He would have been 64 next month. And he and my mom had all these plans after my mom retired. And none of them will get done. He was cremated, and he asked his ashes to be spread where the house he grew up in used to be. They used to live on a farm, and well, the farmstead is gone. The house and everything are gone. My mom's only going to spread some of the ashes there, because her and I were talking, and the more we talked about it, there were places he wanted to go. And she wants to go to some of those places, or some of his friends, if they go to places that they think he would want to go, take some of his ashes and spread them there. And so those are kind of the plans right now. My mom got a pennant. She got one for my uncle, myself, and each of the kids. Mine is this. It'll focus. This motorcycle. Some of his ashes are in here. I saw this when at my grandmother's funeral at the funeral home, and I told my mom, I'm like, I want that. So my mom bought that one for my uncle and myself. She got a cross for herself. And then both of the kids got these ones. Oh, just dropped it. If I can get it to lay straight. I think they put it on backwards on my daughter's. I don't know. I'm holding it backwards. Never mind. It says, in the moon, it says, I love you to the moon and back. And in the heart, it says Papa. And then some of his ashes are in the heart. We got both of the kids one of these ones. And the plan is, each of them have picked a Build-A-Bear that they want them to go into. And we'll take the pennants. I'm going to put them in little plastic bags so the stuffing doesn't get stuck on everything. And then we're going to take them to Build-A-Bear. And I had asked about that. I'm like, if I have like a pennant with the ashes in it, I'm not just putting the ashes in the bear. The manager said that will be fine. We can go to Build-A-Bear. They'll open the bears back up, put the pennant inside the bear, and then sew the bear back up for us. And then when the kids are ready or want to take the pennants out, they can. So that's what our plan is. But at the funeral, there was well, at the prayer service, the one song, my mom had kind of asked for songs to me to do the song part. One thing my dad had always said was, okay, I'll cover up the name. Here's my dad. He was a huge Led Zeppelin fan. And those that can't read, his sweater in the picture says, never underestimate a father who listens to Led Zeppelin. His favorite song was Stairway to Heaven. And from as long as I can remember, he requested that we play Stairway to Heaven at his funeral. That request was honored. In fact, the pastor at their church likes that kind of music as well. And the funeral was casual. My mom had put on your best car or Harley shirt in the obituary because it was a casual. We wanted it to be casual. And the pastor's like, I know you wanted it to be casual, but I don't feel right preaching without a suit on. So he went out and bought a Led Zeppelin tie just for my dad's funeral. He wore it for the prayer service, the funeral, and then the service that Sunday, because the prayer service was Friday, funeral was Saturday, and Sunday was normal church. And he said every time he wears that tie now, he'll remember my dad. And while my dad was dying, he actually made me make a promise to him that I would not allow my mom to play any hymns or yodeling crap type music, is what his words were. And that's how my dad was. And to honor his wishes, at the prayer service, we played Lynyrd Skynyrd Freebird. Every time I was in the truck with my dad, it was either Stairway to Heaven or Freebird that were playing. And, well, I'm not exactly sure what the lyrics for Freebird means, not even Like when the pastor got up and was talking about even Stairway to Heaven, when Jimmy Page was writing the song, he doesn't think that the way that it's interpreted is what Jimmy meant. But it seemed like a fitting song for it. At the funeral, we played Linkin Park, One More Light. That song became a huge hit after Chester Pennington died last year. And this was in the midst of going through all the cancer stuff. And my son fell in love with the song. And the song literally was written for a friend that had died of cancer. A loved one that had died of cancer. And that's literally the meaning of the song. And my son didn't really pick up on that, but he just loved the song. So I told my mom about it. My mom wanted that at the funeral, and we played it. And then she picked out a video from the movie Left Behind that it was kind of a more contemporary type song. So we did honor his wishes in that way. But I know this video has been rambling enough. I just wanted to let everyone know I'm going to try to do 2 a week, and I need to do last week's theme of the week, make the video for it. My theme of the weeks are going to be off for a while. I'm going to kind of do things not in a specific, well, I'm going to do my theme of the weeks in a specific order, in the order correct order, because it would drive me nuts if I didn't. But, so everybody else can continue to do their theme of the week. But, the Be Strong videos right now, I don't think I can bring myself to doing. I know people wanted to know about my weight loss journey, but being they were kind of dual videos, I can't bring myself to doing them right now. So, those are going to kind of be abandoned for a while. So, I know this video sucks. It sucks to make. So, I hope everyone's having a better month than I am. And I'll see you all later.